guys, welcome back to another episode of the Better Together podcast for real estate agents. I'm Kiki King.
And I'm Brian Balisican.
And today we're talking about Chat GPT.
So today we have with us John Chandler, the Executive Vice President of Technology and Innovation with us today.
Yeah, the best person to talk to about this Chat GPT that is everywhere.
Thank you, I'll try, yes.
Everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing that's going on in real estate now.
Real estate and like everything, right?
Yeah, technology, it's booming on every industry, every platform. You'll see Chat GPT or AI. It's a very popular topic right now.
Yeah.
All the large technology firms are trying to get into it, including us here at Locations.
Yes.
And we're trying to provide the best information about Chat GPT and make sure that everyone understands what it is and what it's not. So as well as to be careful and.
Yeah. So Chandler, how long have you been with Locations? Tell us a little bit about your journey. I know it's a really interesting journey to get to where you are now, that Executive Vice President of Technology and Innovation.
Sure, yes. I'm a local boy, graduated from Nanakuli High School. Go Hawks. Yes, sir.
West side, the best side.
I attended University of Southern California after high school. I came back home, went to Chaminade, got my MBA. I actually started my career in San Jose, working for a hedge fund called Capital Marketing Trading, currently based out of Chicago. But we were a options and future trading platform that traded actually out of the Osaka Stock Exchange.
Oh wow, neat. Do you speak Japanese?
I don't. I was on the programming side, building black box or trading algorithms for them as well, working with our quants. And then we decided to come back home. We had our first son, so that's what brought us back home. And the plan was to take a year off, but pretty much within two and a half months, I got bored and got the itch to get back into technology. And Locations offers that great opportunity where there's really no limit on what we can do with the technology here. It's just how do we innovate it and making sure it's the best solution for the business as well as our real estate agents and their clients.
Wow, John. So starting from the west side, Nanakuli, you also played basketball. You're a talented basketball player. You played for Chaminade?
Chaminade, yes. So when I came back home, played at Chaminade, I got opportunity to play in the Maui Classic as well.
Wow.
Yeah, basketball is other than technology, basketball with my kids is my life.
And your son is a basketball phenom.
My son
Yes.
is.
TikTok star.
Yeah, well, my son JJ, he's 9 years old right now. He loves the game of basketball. Him and his teammates of Honolulu Swish. I want to congratulate them. They just won the AAU National Championship here in Hawaii this past weekend.
Wow.
And they actually represented Hawaii, and they're ranked number 7 in the nation for the 4th grade division. So they put a lot of work in it, and yeah.
That boy got skills.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Thank you.
Technology never stops.
Yep.
So coming back to the topic of ChatGPT, I know everyone watching has probably heard of it, ChatGPT or AI in some form. It's all over social media nowadays. But can you give us maybe a little bit more of a definition or explain to us exactly what ChatGPT is and why it's become so popular?
Sure. Well, like you said, ChatGPT is an AI language. The thing that makes it so much different than any other platform so far is that it's able to use, I believe, 175 billion different parameters to create human-like responses, right? So that's the big difference. In the past, you might have heard of AI, but the responses are very robotic. With ChatGPT, you as a non-programmer, as someone who's not in technology, who's not in there every day, you can actually train it to get the responses that are more likely towards you and your customers. And so the potential with Chat GPT is really wide open right now. It kind of got popular back in December or so when OpenAI launched Chat GPT 3.3, I believe. But it's growing, and every industry from real estate to technology to
Even in
state
the
and government,
Yeah.
the classrooms have to change on how they create their assignments, because ChatGPT is the human-like response is so capable of writing these essays for students. So we're seeing it
amazing.
every day. One of our colleagues, Dory, her daughter is in college, and they're saying that the professor has to change the assignments and make sure that they actually write the essays. So it's everywhere.
Wow.
Real estate agents are starting to adapt towards it. We just came back from a national conference in Las Vegas from real estate companies and real estate agents from all across the globe, not just in the States. And Chat GPT or AI is definitely the focus of it. Agents are starting to use it, and which I'm excited for, because I think real estate technology is usually kind of dragging or behind the trends. I see a lot of companies right now trying to get in front of it. So here at Locations, we're also working on that path forward.
So John, Chat GPT is everywhere, but for real estate, how can real estate agents use that in the industry?
Sure. Well, ChatGPT right now, a lot of people think about it as creating new content. Speaking with other agents at our last conference, a lot of them are using it to create blogs, SEO articles to help generate leads, also property descriptions to help create content. In fact, you can even use, I know a handful of agents that are using ChatGPT to create YouTube scripts.
Wow.
To create their own content.
We can run the better too.
Yeah. But right now it's primarily used for content, but it's more than that, honestly. You can train ChatGPT to answer basic real estate questions about your listing, like how many bedrooms, square footage, and you can create that to provide a more human-like response to them. But ChatGPT, and I tell a lot of agents, you have to work with it. It's not going to give you the perfect response the very first time. You have to kind of train it, and it will provide a different response on the way that you ask the question. So a good example is write an open house description for this weekend on 100 Aloha Way, and it will write a pretty decent description. But if you change the prompt or the question to write a open house ad to encourage engagement and excitement about 100 Open House Way, you'll get a completely different response than you're like, wow, this is really geared towards the excitement that I want to get towards it. And then if you can even ask a response or prompt it to say, let's write an open house description geared towards first-time home buyers about 100 Aloha Way, and you'll get a response for it as well. But if you say write it towards investors, you'll get a completely different response. So a lot of agents are using it to create custom content that's generated towards different segments. But it's also, I mean, for me, I'm not a very good writer. You can see it in some of my, even in my own writing. So ChatGPT, for me personally, allows me to at least create the basics of my content quicker than I could have ever done it. And so then I'm able to take that basic, make a few tweaks, make sure it's my response, and then send it out. So it does save me a lot of time. If you ever got a company-wide email from me in the last 3 months or so, I guarantee you it was ChatGPT that helped out. Yeah.
Wow.
Now John doesn't have to have writer's block.
No
No
such
writer's
thing.
block with ChatGPT, right?
Right. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, I mean, do you have tips on how to do, like, how to create an effective prompt for ChatGPT, or what kind of, I know you have to put constraints on it.
Yeah. Well, ChatGPT, it really learns based off of your prompts. So one thing that we have a small ChatGPT group here with of agents that are starting to learn the basics of it and starting to utilize it. one of the common mistakes, I guess, that I saw from that group is that they would ask the same question, they'll ask the same question in a different dialog box. So when you open up a new dialog box, it kind of forgets the last settings or the last preference that you created. So you want to try and ask the same question in the same, what they call the text box, right? So if I want to say, like I mentioned earlier about the different open house segments, I would write it in the same chat box so that the responses come back knowing what was already learned from the previous text. So continue to do that. You have to be clear and concise, right? Grammar is still a big factor when you're writing in Chat GPT. The other thing is you want to provide as much content as you can with asking the dialogue. So if I'm saying write an open house ad about 100 Aloha Way as an example, there's probably, there's probably 10 homes in Hawaii that has very similar addresses. So you have to give it, the more content on Cross Street X that has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. So the more content that you can actually give it, it'll actually provide a better response. And I also tell agents, Chat GPT is not the answer towards everything. Agents that have 30-year experience or 20-year experience, like Mr. Ballisticon here, is going to have way more knowledge on the listing or the property or the neighborhood or the market in general than any Chat GPT or OpenAI content right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Chat GPT, you said provide more details as much as possible. So if you're targeting a specific social media platform, can you tell the Chat GPT which ones you're using, and is it helpful to tell them which one?
Yes, it's not only helpful, it's almost critical because there's a difference between Facebook posts, Instagram posts, and Twitter, right? And what you'll see if you ask or prompt Chat GPT to write a content blog for you, and if you say write it for Instagram, it will provide you with an Instagram caption. It'll provide you with the highest likelihood of hashtags. And in most cases, it'll even include the emojis or the graphics to utilize it as well, because it really understands that what you're trying to get. And if you have a profile page, you can even say, write a profile page and include your handle, like @location_Hawaii. And it will pull information from your handle to create that content as well. So it also understands what your subject matter is. So for me, with my basketball team or location to Hawaii, depending on what handle I include in the prompt, it knows my target audience. It knows my subject. So if it's real estate, it's a technology, it's a sports, it's a kids.
In other words, it kind of knows your personality, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It starts to learn you, right? Yeah. So if you ever go to my office, I have this large 5 screens. One of them is at this point, unfortunately, is kind of dedicated to my Chat GPT window.
But Chat GPT screen, huh?
Yeah.
It learns exactly, and I have a few different use cases. I use it for, of course, work here at locations. I use it for sports as well, and that platform. So it understands me and what I try to create. And sometimes, Chat GPT right out of the box is very formal, right? When I say, write an email to Brian Ballisticon, it'll say, aloha, or it'll say, hi, Mr. Ballisticon, and I'm like, it's too formal. Yeah. And I'll say, write it informal to Mr. Ballisticon, and it'll say, how's it, Brian? Yeah. So it's
you can even use pidgin language.
Wow.
What they call it, Hawaiian slang on GPT.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they'll talk really from Nanakuli side, and west side,
West side.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it really starts to learn you. But I think people or everyone needs to understand that just like you have to learn Chat GPT, it takes dialogue. It takes going back and forth. It takes you asking different questions. But I think one agent told me earlier today is that it doesn't know me. I was like, well, how often have you tried it, right? So how often are you putting different responses into it. But over time, you'll learn that you put in a question and it'll spit it out, and you're like, wow, this is better than what I could have actually done. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Chat GPT has helped a lot of personalities, right? People who are introverts in the, you know, yeah, even John, totally from 3 months ago, John was plain Jane, boring, but now he's this exciting and innovative, and yeah, he just, Chat GPT just gave him a personality now. Now he's like the most funnest guy, but
With
you
all
know,
the emojis.
I was like, totally changed the man. He can change everyone. Chat GPT, you have no personality, get Chat GPT.
It'll help you out.
That's pretty amazing, though. I mean, because a lot of realtors are not necessarily, you know, professional writers. And so this is an AI tool that's so interesting how it actually learns, actively learns, and it can help a lot of realtors with their, like you said, property descriptions or bios or content, even help realtors, you know, be on social media more. Because that's the thing is, what do I post? What do I put in my caption? And what hashtags to use? So now I know.
Yep. What hashtags to use? One thing I would caution agents is that, you know, Chat GPT, again, it doesn't know the marketing rules and laws here in Hawaii. So you have to make sure that you actually read the content, validate the content. There is, you know, Chat GPT takes language that or content, data that it's learned basically from the web, right? And so not everything on the web is always factual, right? So you want to make sure you check the content, that you understand it. Is that something that you would post as well? And here at Locations, we do have our Bigs with Michelle Mossman. If you have any questions, you can always refer to her. Sales coaches, or even just our marketing team. We have our marketing team is here. But I always say, you know, you got to check it. You want to make sure that it represents you, your brand. If you have a great brand, if you have a certain brand, you wouldn't want Chat GPT to start creating a different brand for you. So you want to make sure you understand it.
As real estate professionals, we have a responsibility, and in our license, and to protect our clients, we have to abide by so many rules because it's the biggest asset, you know, and with financing as well. So, you know, fair housing laws, discrimination laws, Chat GPT can do only so much, and it's the human's responsibility. That's why AI will never replace a human being, but the experience of the profession and the professionalism of the agent has to take part. It has to work. You should be working together, right, to come out with the final product. So everything's all checked out and filtered. But it does help with getting you started, but the finished product has to end with the agent, right?
Yeah, it's a great tool to get started with. Like if I want to write an SEO article on 10 things to know about buying a home in Hawaii, it will spit out 10 things for you, but is it the 10 things that you as an agent would say is true or represents you and your brand? You may say 8 out of 10 seems right, but the other 2, I'm going to add something else to it. So I think it's like you said, AI or technology is not, in my vision, is not going to replace the agent and the experience that they've got being in the industry. But it'll help you create that baseline, help you maybe get to what you're trying to do a little quicker. But again, what agents bring to the table, their experience, their knowledge, their human interactions, that client touch, is AI will not touch that.
Yeah. Interesting. So, you know, Chandler, you mentioned that you were just recently at this international convention for this network, this global network that Locations is a part of, known as Leading Real Estate Companies of the World. And I know that you're one of the featured speakers in the technology panel. And, you know, I'm really interested to know, as you said, ChatGPT and AI was one of those topics that was highly talked about. What are other brokerages or other agents concerned, excited about regarding ChatGPT and AI? What did you hear while you were up there?
Yeah, a lot of agencies or other firms are just like us. Just how do we take advantage of Chat GPT? And right now, a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, are using it for content and copy. But just more firms are starting to figure out that you can use Chat GPT to help you create and complete simplified tasks. And so what our development team, for example, is working on is how do we use Chat GPT with our CRM, right? So Chat GPT with our CRM and say, hey, who are my potential clients that can buy this home at 100 Aloha Way? And we would like the content or the tool to be able to say, here are your clients that would fit the demographic, the sales needs, based off of their property searches, based off of your notes that you've written with them, based off of your tasks that you completed with them, or even their home address, to say, here's your potential leads for this property. So integrated within our platforms, and then also looking to integrate it with our websites. A lot of people are saying, everybody has had chatbots. Chatbots are not new, right? I mean, Brian is probably using chatbot with AOL and AIM back in the day, MySpace, right? But the chatbots then, the responses, you knew right away that's a robot, right?
Yeah.
You knew right away that there's not a person behind that answering that question. Now with ChatGPT, yes, it's still AI, but the responses are more human-like. So it also starts to understand what your customers are asking and how they're asking, right? So integrating that with
AI
our
personality.
Exactly, yeah. And so it's helping real estate firms take advantage of some of that automation, and also from a business standpoint. So in our role, it's also understanding what the business intelligence, what our business data is showing us, right? So we can also use that. Now, ChatGPT can also write code. So it can also write SQL code, C++, HTML. So when an agent says, hey, I want to update my webpage to have this video added towards it, you can actually say, write HTML code and give it the video URL, and it'll spit out 6 or 7 lines of what that code is. So it's starting to change on how much technical developers you need on staff, because now you're able to do certain things faster.
We don't have to code anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, coding, yeah. But you know, it's
I don't know what coding is.
coding, I mean, real estate agents probably don't do a lot of coding, but from a business standpoint, you're looking at, how many clients. So one of the topics that I was working with our executive team is how many first-time home buyers do we have in our entire database, right? So I can write the SQL code, but then they want it in a special format, in special grouping. So as long as I wrote that basic code, and then I say, you know what, group it by neighborhood. And it'll take that same code and group it by neighborhoods, saving me time.
Chat GPT is like another employee,
Yeah,
right?
like a virtual
from,
assistant.
From what you're telling me, from listening, from what you've been sharing, you now have a writer in the room. In one of your brainstorming discussion in your group, you have a writer, you have someone who knows everything and everything, right? So you ask a topic and they'll be there, and then now you have a coder. Now you have like the whole executive committee in there. I mean, with information, that resources is unbelievable.
Yeah. Again, it's not going to replace.
True.
And we don't pay them a salary.
Yeah.
But you still have to check their work.
Yeah. So you still gotta check their work. I think you'll start to see different positions in the AI role start to generate. Meaning, like you have to understand how to prompt Chat GPT, right? So it may not be a full-on content writer, but you maybe say, you know what, I need a AI intelligence developer, writer, whatever it is, and it's using these different tools, right? ChatGPT is kind of the most popular one right now, but there's others that are sprouting. Google has one, Bing has one, so you'll start to see it in everything from your Alexa is considered AI. right? So you'll start to see it everywhere if you don't yet. Your kids are going to grow up with it, right? So I always joke around that my 9-year-old son probably won't have to get a driver's license because he'll just probably tap
Have a
on his
self-driving
watch.
car.
The car will come up, drive him to where he needs to be, drop him off. But it's changing, and I think I was talking with our mortgage group. You know, Chat GPT is like the new internet. When the internet came, it was a new boom of technology and opportunities. AI, I believe, is that next big technology breakthrough that will help us in our day-to-day, in our business, and will allow us to synchronize and automate a lot more of our systems and tools to do more.
It's amazing. It's like a talking Google, right? I mean, it just actual someone talking whenever you ask Google something now. So the elephant in the room is, will this AI replace many jobs in the future, or downsize businesses, or people who write or do content creation? Will that change their job? Are they scared of losing their job?
Sure. I don't think it's going to replace the content writer just yet, because you still need that human touch, especially in our industry. But it has the potential of replacing or minimizing some of the repetitive clerical jobs of like Excel sheets or repetitive tasking. It's not there today just yet, because the great part about OpenAI is that they make it available to anybody. And if you are able to take your current program language and join it with OpenAI, it could create some efficiencies within your brokerage, your business. It does for me personally. Like I just mentioned earlier, I use it when I'm in a pinch on my phone and I need to write this SQL code in a particular format. I already wrote the basis of it, so I can just put it in Chat GPT, spit it out, and it creates that efficiency for me. But right now, it's not there yet. I think, I don't think it's written, or it's only learning what we put out there. So we still need the human touch. We still need that human information to be available. I do think it'll make it more efficient for content writers, Instagram bloggers, YouTube superstars, where you're able to create scripts and content and at least get the base of it. Because honestly, for me, content is not my strong suit, and it takes me 3 or 4 days sometimes before I actually release content or messages, because I'm thinking about it, I'm refreshing, I'm Googling it. So the one thing that ChatGPT, we didn't touch on it just yet, is what's the difference between Google and ChatGPT. So with Google, right, you ask a question, you'll get 100 websites, and you have to go through and read and create your own content from it. ChatGPT, you can ask the question, but it'll also give you the response in one dialogue, right? So it's just, I think if anything, it may change that industry, right? The SEO industry, because now you're not necessarily going to Google to search for your questions and get all those ads that'll pop up, right?
And you got to search for the answers.
You got to search for the answers.
Right?
You're going to go to Chat GPT. So that industry is slightly changing right now. And
It's okay, Google just buy out Chat GPT.
yeah,
Like how they bought all
yeah,
these.
that's my thing, yeah.
But we gotta get some Chat GPT stocks. The stock trader.
I think it's Microsoft that brought them. Don't quote me on that. Don't.
No, I mean, actually, I just heard that Microsoft Office released some sort of AI to that will help, businesses, use their programs intelligently. So I do have one final question for you about, are there any other trending technology that you anticipate we should be on the lookout for in the near future?
It's all going to be based around AI. And for real estate agents, I think you're going to start to see AI integrated into your CRM platforms, into your transaction management platforms, into your accounting platforms. And it's not going to replace your job. Don't get me wrong. It's going to just help you be more efficient. So when you're looking for something or looking to generate new content, new leads, or you just want to understand for example, one agent is asking me, I think my pillar of business is open house. But then when we look into their CRM, me as a developer, I can code and track and say, well, your business is more or less coming from the online web team and not from open house, right? So then be able to show them that, but then put that in the hands of real estate agents where they say, hey, where's my business where's my sources of business coming from? And so that they can more focus on that and help them to understand, this is your business. But it's going to be around AI. I think one of the things our group is working on right now is just how do we integrate it with our Salesforce platform, right? So Salesforce plus OpenAI, the two biggest kind of business platforms that you can have here at Locations, we get to utilize that day to day. So again, I think you're going to see it in your business functions. But hey, Brian's got kids. You have to worry about it for how to use it in school. Because man, some of these articles are a lot of information that universities are putting out, and you can see students that are starting to utilize it, creating their entire essay. But hey, me being from Nanukuli, there's got to be some grammar issues in there somewhere. So when it's too perfect.
Yeah. That means my son can graduate from college in 1 year instead of 4 years now. With being that efficient, right? Yeah, that'll save a lot of money.
But yeah, you'll see AI, those two words or initials used in a lot of technology going forward.
It's taken over, and as a real estate agent, if you're not with technology innovation, you're gonna be left behind. I mean, with that conference that you went to, a lot of you can't be on the top unless you definitely have a segment in your business, and your company is taking you, looking ahead and getting you all the tools you need. If you're not a one person real estate business.
Yep, absolutely. It'll save you time, because I think one thing I like for real estate agents to do, and I think that's why they're in the business, they like to work with people and deal with people. This AI, Chat GPT, allows you to spend more time working with people, but still provide you the benefit of creating content, copy, descriptions quicker.
Well, John, thanks for sharing all your information about Chat GPT. We've learned a lot that it can do so much, but with a lot of knowledge, there comes a lot of responsibilities. And looking forward to having that being integrated and into our systems that we have here at Locations. And that's why we're better together here. And we always strive to make our agents better.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in to this episode of the Better Together podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed this conversation about ChatGPT with our guest, John Chandler. And continue to stay tuned. Keep watching for more episodes of how to build a successful and well-rounded real estate business. See you next time.
Aloha.